Have you ever had one of those moments where you suddenly realize, wow, half the year is already gone? And maybe your first reaction is, I've wasted time. I should be further ahead. And this year is not turning out how I hoped. Well, if this is something that you are experiencing right now, this is where I've been just a couple of days ago because I look at my goals for this year and I have basically reached almost none of them. And then I ask myself, well, what the heck have you actually done in these past 6 months to be not ticking off any of your goals? And it can be frustrating, it can be disappointing to the point where I could even get angry with myself. But I'm learning and I'm expanding, I'm growing. And so I applied curiosity and I said to myself, maybe I don't have to start all over with my plans. Maybe it's just about adjusting. Big plans don't usually just unfold in one go. And maybe I also have to apply a different version of myself with a clearer vision, with more confidence or better habits, stronger habits. Or maybe some parts of me need some healing or some answers. And for some people, pregnancy or a baby, or some other people are seeking peace. And somehow life has always some ideas and sometimes different ones. So maybe some things worked out beautifully for you. And then I'm super happy for you. Or maybe some things completely fell apart. And maybe if you're really honest, you feel somewhere in between, like me. A little proud, a little disappointed, a little unsure. And perhaps the hardest part is the quiet voice inside saying, well, now what? So let's explore that together. Maybe grab a glass of water or warm cup of tea. If you can, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Hello, and a warm welcome to my podcast show, Your Fertility Counselor. I'm your host, Tanya Fessler, and together we will dive into all things fertility, offering support, expert insights, and practical evidence-based advice for anyone navigating their fertility journey. So grab a cup of tea and make yourself comfortable. Let's get started. Hello and a warm welcome back. Today, I want us to talk about something that feels especially important at this halfway point in the year. It's about resetting, but in a gentle way, please. Because I think many of us carry this idea that if things haven't gone to plan, we need to start all over. And start again means reinvent ourselves, push harder, become more disciplined, or fix everything. Which sounds per se, to be very honest right now, sounds a bit stressful. So what if you don't actually need to start all over? What if you simply need to pause long enough to adjust, to recalibrate, to reconnect with yourself? Because here is the truth. Life changes us. Experiences change us. Loss changes us. Stress changes us. Even fertility journeys change us. And if who you were in January feels different now, that doesn't mean you failed. It might simply mean you've lived and you've grown, actually, in many beautiful ways. And sometimes we are not even aware of how we've grown, but we did. And this is where I want to gently introduce something important, because sometimes we keep trying to force ourselves back into a version of life that no longer fits. And time flies by so quickly at the moment. I don't know about you, but for me, definitely. So the goals I've set for this year might actually have changed already. The expectations have changed, the pressure. And when that happens, we can feel strangely disconnected from ourselves because a part of us knows something has shifted, and this can create a kind of inattention, a feeling of I'm doing what I think I should be doing, but something doesn't feel aligned anymore. And sometimes that's not failure, it's a piece of information. Just take it as a piece of information. So today, instead of a reset built on pressure, I want to offer you one built on honesty. And maybe you can use these reflection prompts that I've prepared for you today. The first is this: you do not have to abandon yourself to move forward. You do not need to become a completely different person. Growth doesn't require self-rejection. You are allowed to evolve, to adjust, to recalibrate without deciding everything before now was wrong. And the second one is this: small shifts matter more than dramatic reinventions. Sometimes we think change has to look huge, but often healing happens quietly. One boundary or one honest conversation, one earlier bedtime, or one appointment booked, one moment of asking for help. It's really those tiny things. And if everything feels too much for you right now, then just roll out your mat or anything to make space, and knowing that there is this little corner, a little place for yourself where you can actually sit down if you really want to. And it's the repetition that does the magic. I can't even tell you how many times I rolled out my yoga mat before I actually started to do those movements. But I repeatedly rolled out the mat and then I rolled it back in without doing yoga. But I did it until one day I stepped on it again and then I started to move. And it felt so, so great. So if there has been anything lingering in your mind for some time, something that you truly wanted to do, just a tiny little preparation towards that can already make a change. Because what you are indeed doing to yourself is that you are responding to something that your heart wants. You're paying attention to something that your heart is craving for. So you're giving yourself that importance. And giving ourselves importance makes us feel important and happy. And this is all what matters. So do it repeatedly until you get through it. A third reflection that came through my mind when I was brainstorming for today's episode is you are allowed to choose again. Maybe what mattered back in January doesn't feel quite right anymore. And that's fine, because we are 6 months down the road. And maybe your priorities have shifted since then. Maybe your energy changed even. Maybe your heart has changed because your heart is longing for something else now. You are allowed to update your map, and without guilt and without shame. This has nothing to do about staying loyal or abiding to rules or anything like that. It's your choice. And each morning when you wake up and are about to start your day, you have a choice. Look at it as this valve that is set in the middle on 0. And you can turn this valve to the left or to the right and decide in which direction your day will kick off to. so that it feels really good to you. There is a good intention behind it. So before we close today, I want to guide you through a small mid-year reset exercise. Nothing overwhelming, just a gentle check-in. Take a slow breath in and maybe place both feet on the ground and ask yourself, what feels worth carrying forward into the next 6 months? And if 6 feels too much for you, take 1 month, 3 months, 1 week, 1 day. What is a habit you want to kickstart? Or a person, a belief, a part of yourself that you want to heal or pay attention to? And then ask yourself, what feels heavy to keep carrying? Is it pressure, perfectionism, fear, constant comparison, something that no longer feels like yours? What is it that I'm carrying that feels heavy? And maybe you can decide, and you have that choice, you know now, whether you want to continue to carry that thing that feels so heavy. Why on earth would you actually want to continue to carry something that feels heavy? Because if I, as a friend of yours, would observe you carrying that, I would immediately tell you, you are a too beautiful soul, too loving to actually excruciate yourself with carrying something that is heavy. So please, please, please take down that backpack, put it at the side of your path, and say thank you. Thank you for being around. Thank you for giving me all these wonderful experiences that allowed me to grow, that allowed me to become who I am. But right now, it feels too heavy to continue to carry you on this new path I'm about to embark. So I give myself permission to let go and put you, the backpack, with that heavy stuff inside, here at the side of my path with gratitude. So finally, what is one small thing I could do this week that feels more aligned with who I am becoming? It doesn't need to be perfect, not dramatic, just honest. Please, please, please promise me. Promise me to do something that you truly love doing. And maybe you haven't done for some time because you constantly have the feeling that you're running out of time. And now I'm just asking you to spend 1 minute for your favorite music, your favorite song. Dance crazy, sing loud, do the run, do jumping jacks, whatever feels great to you, so that you feel that alive feeling, that great energy within you, waking up and being there and connecting with the true you. So maybe that is what resetting is really about. Not starting over, but starting from where you actually are with more compassion, more honesty, and maybe a little more trust in yourself. Thank you for being here with me throughout this June series. I hope these conversations reminded you that wherever you find yourself halfway through this year, you are allowed to pause, reflect, reset if that's necessary, and begin again, gently. It could be even with a new mantra. By the way, I just changed my mantra, the word of the year, because I felt that the one I had chosen in January is not being the one that I resonate anymore now. So I just decided to change it. And that could be you too. So if this episode felt meaningful, please share it with someone who may need it to hear this. who may actually be thankful for getting this episode into their inbox. Thank you for taking the time. Spend it with me today. I feel so honored. Take gentle care. Bye-bye and see you next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.